Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. Tell me, baby. Tell me if it ain't good enough for you, baby.
You gotta be grown for this.
Tell me what you want.
90s babies.
Tell me what you need.
Y'all know what time it is.
Welcome. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Unpopular podcast. It's your boy Jalen, and I felt like pushing the camera out a little bit for people that are watching on YouTube. As you can see more of the desk. You can see the Unpopular podcast sign. I just felt like something different. So no, I haven't moved. I'm just expanding. But again, this is the Unpopular podcast. Thank you guys for coming. Let's start with this. You know, gone are the days where you can have an incredible defense and you be good. You know, we remember the Ravens, I think it was 2000 Ravens or 2001, where they had they had Ray Lewis, they had Ed Reed, and Trent Dilfer was their quarterback. No offense to Trent Dilfer, but he's not a starting quarterback. But he took them and led them to the Super Bowl. We remember a lot of those giant teams that, were good back in the day, where they had a solid defense. The Cowboys teams that had the defenses, the Steel Curtain. This is the golden age, and I've said this before, but I'm going to reiterate. This is the golden age of the NFL quarterback. This is the golden age of quarterback play in the NFL. When you look at a lot of the teams, especially a lot of the good teams, they have either their quarterback locked up or they know where they're going. They know the direction that they're trying to go in. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes arguably or could go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Look at the Ravens. You have Lamar Jackson. Look at Seattle. You have Russell Wilson. Look at the Cardinals. You have Kyler Murray. It's like all the teams that are good. And it's not just teams that are good, because some teams that aren't that good at least kind of know what they're doing with their quarterback. Look at the Houston Texans. You have Deshaun Watson. Look at, I don't know, what's a bad team right now? Look at the Dolphins. You have Tua Tagovailoa. This is the golden age of the quarterback. Like I said in the NBA, I don't know if you guys remember, but I said in the NBA, this is the golden age for the point guard. You have Steph Curry, you have Russell Westbrook, you have Damian Lillard, you have Kyrie, you have John Wall. There are so many great point guards in the NBA. This is the golden age. And that goes the same for NFL. There's no more, if you don't have a good quarterback, you're not going to be good in the NFL right now. Let's think about it. Look at the Washington team. Kyle Allen is not that good at quarterback, and they struggle. Look at the Jets. They can't. It's not just the quarterback, but they can't get nothing right, and they're struggling. It's like if you don't have a good quarterback, or if your foundation is not set with the quarterback, it's not gonna work. But today, what I wanted to do is I'm going to go over every team, every single football team in the NFL, and fix them. Now, of course, some teams need more fixing than others. Some teams don't need much fixing at all. But I'm going to go with every team, and I'm going to fix them. It might be a change. It might be more than one. But every team is going to get fixed and turned into a Super Bowl team today. Thanks to your boy, Jalen. Now, let's start with this. Let's start with the game that let's start with two teams we saw last night. Let's start with the Bears. The Bears, if you look on paper, the Bears have the most complete team. You have a solid defense. You have really good wide receivers. You have, there's not much to the Bears that are bad. However, the Bears have two things that they need to shore up before they can be crowned or they can be a real Super Bowl contender. And that is they need to get their quarterback situation straight. Because don't get me wrong, Nick Foles has his moments. We know Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, had one of the most incredible Super Bowl runs with the Philadelphia Eagles. But we have also seen Nick Foles at his worst. And Nick Foles at his worst is not a starting quarterback. So while a lot of Eagles fans might say, no, Nick Foles is a competent starting quarterback. No, he's not really. So I think they need to get their quarterback situation, like really bring in a solid quarterback. Now, I know they also have Mr. Trubisky, but there's a reason why Mr. Trubisky was benched. So I say if the Bears get a solid quarterback, like maybe, I don't know, a Teddy Bridgewater type, not saying that Teddy Bridgewater is like he's not, let me say this. Look, you know what? Boom. If the Bears can get someone like a Tyrod Taylor, they'd be good. Now, we know the situation that's happening with the Chargers right now and Tyrod, and they need to get that situation. But if they don't, and if Tyrod's available, why don't you go after Tyrod? Then they also need a running back. Now, David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen, I mean, they're okay, but they're not, to me, starting running back talent. So if the Bears get a better, like a number one running back, I thought Le'Veon Bell would be good going to them. Now, of course, we know Le'Veon Bell went to the Chiefs, but I thought Le'Veon Bell would have been perfect to go for the Bears. I digress. If the Bears get a running back and a more competent quarterback, they'd be good. That's the Bears. What about the Rams? The Rams, a couple years ago, of course, they had all the big names. They had Aaron Donald. They had Ndamukong Suh. They had, of course, Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, and that got them to the Super Bowl. Now, no, they didn't win the Super Bowl, but that got them to the Super Bowl. What do they have now? They have a really good passing attack with Jared Goff, with Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee. They have a really good passing attack, and they have a solid defense. Now, their defense does have a little bit of holes in them, especially like they're good at getting to the quarterback, but they're not the best at stopping the run, even with an Aaron Donald. I think if the Rams can, one, get a quality number one running back, because right now I think it's Henderson, and while he has been good, especially for fantasy owners, I don't know how good he is as a starting, running back for a championship team. You get a starting running back and kind of shore up the rush defense. If you can do that, the Rams would be good. So the Rams, they need to get a solid running back. It's kind of like the Bears, solid running back, but instead of the quarterback, the Rams need to kind of shore up their defense as far as stopping the run, because Aaron Donald, we know, is great, but outside of Aaron Donald on the defensive line, that's when you kind of get, we know the corners are good. We know about Jalen Ramsey and everything, but like I said, stopping the run would probably help the most. So that's the Rams. Let's go with the bye teams. Let's go with teams that were in a bye. Let's go with the Ravens. The Ravens are incredible. The Ravens are 5-1 right now, and the Ravens have one of the most electrifying quarterbacks in the league, which is Lamar Jackson. However, we cannot deny that this year the Ravens have taken a step back from last year. Last year, they had one of the greatest offenses we've ever seen. Last year, Lamar Jackson was incredible. He won the MVP. One thing that we're seeing with the Ravens is teams are starting to dare the Ravens they're starting to dare Lamar to beat them with his arm. Now, don't get me wrong. Lamar Jackson is not a bad passer. Lamar Jackson, he's not bad, but one of his strong suits, of course, is running the ball with his speed, with his ability to make defenders miss. That we know that's Lamar Jackson's calling card, honestly. And we're starting to see that, again, teams are just totally committed to stopping the run. And while, yes, they are 5-1, they're not the same. Like Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are 5-1, and the Ravens are 5-1. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are 6-1 right now. Yeah, 6-1. But those teams are. It doesn't seem like they're close, because the Ravens have struggled more than we've seen, or more than their record shows. Now, how would I fix the Ravens? Two things. One, I think Lamar Jackson needs to work on his ability to pass out of the pocket. Do I think that he is a bad passer out of the pocket? No, I don't. But do I think he needs to improve, especially to help his team win? Yes, I do. I think if Lamar Jackson becomes a better... Now, I don't think he needs to be a pocket passer as far as... I don't think that needs to be his number one option. But I think that he needs to improve that to be... So he can fall back on that a little more, seeing as though that teams are starting to play them as in, yo, Lamar, we're not about to let you run. We're not about to let you run all over us. You're going to have to do something about it. So I think that if he improves on his pocket passing, that would be a lot better. And also, we knew this last year, but it's starting to be a little bit more apparent that the Ravens don't have a solid number one option when it comes to wide receivers. Like, you have Marquise Brown and you have Mark Andrews, who, by the way, is a tight end. Like, they don't really have their plethora of talented wide receivers. If you go out there and get, I don't know, get like an AJ Green. If you get an AJ Green, that'll help tremendously. If you go out there and we heard Michael Thomas' name being thrown out there and maybe trade talks. If you go out there and get a Michael Thomas, that to me will open up your offense so much. Because right now, outside of Lamar Jackson, the running game hasn't been there. You know, J.K. Dobbins, he's been okay, but he hasn't been great. And Mark Ingram, he hasn't been good at all, honestly. So outside of Lamar, the running game hasn't been the same. So if you're trying to fall back on your passing game, you need better weapons than a tight end who, don't get me wrong, Mark Andrews is good, but you need a number one wide receiver. And right now, Marquise Brown is not it. So that's why I think if you get, especially, I think they have to be aggressive when it comes to this trade deadline. I think if they get a number one wide receiver, like I said, see about AJ Green, see about, I don't know, see about Michael Thomas, see what Julio Jones and the Atlanta Falcons, seeing as though they lost yet again on Sunday, see what they're doing with that. I know they did bring Dez Bryant on the practice squad, but I don't think he, at least from right now, I don't know how much he can really give you as far as number one option. You know what I mean? So Lamar Jackson get a little better at being a pocket passer. Not saying fall back on that, but and I don't think that you should change your style as far as I think that you should continue to be a run first quarterback, seeing as though that is giving you the most success. I mean, that got the Ravens to the best record in the league last year and an MVP. But I do think that, you know, you work on the pocket passing a little more. You know, I think the running game will start opening up a little more for you. Also, go get a number one wide receiver. You need it. Marquise Brown, don't get me wrong, he's good, but he's not number one material, at least right now, in my opinion. Go see what Julio Jones is doing. Go see AJ Green. You know, go talk to Michael. Go talk to the Saints to see if Michael Thomas is available. So that's the Ravens. Dolphins don't need to do much. I know. They're 3-3. What are you talking about? They don't need to do much. They have a lot of young pieces. I think you starting Tua, we need to see how Tua is. But you have Devontae Parker. You have Brian Flores, who has been a great coach. And you have solid pieces on the defensive side of the ball. I think just need time. Like, the direction that the Dolphins are going is really good. Now, no, I don't think that there's any move that you can make this year to honestly be playoff contenders. But I think if you just give the Dolphins time, they'll be really good, honestly. Because, like I said, I thought going into this year, if Tua was completely healthy, he would be the number one quarterback by far. But you know, and we're about to see, you know, he comes back to the Rams, or his first start would be against the Rams. I don't see much that the Dolphins really have to improve on, seeing as though they're trying to improve on it. You know, again, it's a really young team, so I think if you give them time, I don't know if they'll be playoff contenders in the next 3 or 4 years, but I do think that in the next 3 or 4 years they'll be a lot better than they are right now. And I think that is a testament because remember what they just won like 1 or 2 games maybe last year or so. So I think the Dolphins just need some patience, you know. Oh, that's a lot different, however, from Minnesota, who is 1-5 right now. Minnesota needs to. Here's the thing about Minnesota. You have Kirk Cousins, you have Adam Thielen, you have Dalvin Cook, you have pieces that are very good on the defensive side of the ball. You have to really take a look at the quarterback to see if Kirk Cousins is really the guy to get the job done, to say the least. And you also have to look at the coaching staff because, again, this is a good roster. This roster is if you look at this roster on paper, they should be at least a playoff team. But right now they're 1-5. And they've lost a couple close games. They've got blown out a couple times. Again, I think you need to look to see if Kirk Cousins is the one that can get you to where you're supposed to go, and if that coaching staff can really be the one. Because I'm not the one to say. I'm usually not one to just throw the coaching staff under the bus. Because, like I said, I'm always the one to say, "Yo, the coaching staff isn't the one to go out there and tackle or go out there and throw a pass or catch a pass. Those are the players." However, when you constantly see a team that doesn't look prepared or looks disinterested or doesn't seem like they are listening to the direction of the coach, that to me is when you have to look and say, all right, is what we're doing working? And if it's not working, we might need to get a new coach in there. So I think that the Vikings, they need to look long and hard to see is Kirk Cousins, who, by the way, is a good quarterback when it comes to the regular season, when it comes to games that aren't really prime time. But when it comes to prime time games and it comes to when you have to play good teams or playoff teams, it gets a little dicey when it comes to his record. So, again, you have to look Kirk Cousins, if that's the guy, and is it time to change the coaching staff for the Minnesota Vikings? Let's look at the Colts. I know a lot of people are telling me that Phillip Rivers is still a good quarterback. I know that they're 4-2 right now. I get that. But more times than not, Phillip Rivers in key situations has thrown a costly interception more than not. Now, their defense has bailed them out time and time again, but I think it's again. Now, I know that the Colts are going to ride for Phillip Rivers. How do I know this? Because you benched Jacoby Brissett, who to me isn't, at least right now in their careers, isn't that far off of Phillip Rivers, but you benched Jacoby Brissett to bring in Phillip Rivers when you could have brought in Cam Newton, but you bring in Phillip Rivers, and now they're 4-2. I will stand on this hill and say that Phillip Rivers should not be the starting is not starting quarterback material at this point, seeing as though he throws more interceptions than touchdowns at this point, and he's more known for his trash talk. Even though, again, I know they're 4-2, but not all 4-2s are created equal. So again, I think that I think you have to look along hard to see, is Phillip Rivers the guy that's going to take us? I know that the Colts are dealing with a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball in particular, but again, that defense is still bailing them out a lot of times. So I was like, I would say, Phillip Rivers might got to go. And I think if you bring in a competent quarterback, like if you would have brought in Cam Newton, or I don't know what quarterback is available at this point. I mean, I could think of maybe Matt Ryan. I don't know how much more Matt Ryan has in the tank, but at least what I'm seeing in Atlanta and what I'm seeing in Indy as far as quarterback play, I would say Matt Ryan is better than a Phillip Rivers, but I don't know. I think Phillip Rivers is not the one to get the job done when it comes to trying to win a championship. So that's that. Let's go with the Giants. Yeah. See, here's the thing about the Giants, man. The Giants built their team around Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is arguably the best running back in the game. They did not expect to not have Saquon Barkley the entire season, seeing as though he dealt with an ACL tear, or he's dealing with an ACL tear. Honestly, I would say get a better quarterback, but Daniel Jones has shown flashes that he's a good quarterback. You know, we remember how the last year ended, or the run that they went on last year. Remember, like we saw the 80-yard run that he had, even though he tripped over nothing. But I don't. See, the thing about the Giants is the Giants are trying to be bad, seeing as though their corner piece got injured, so they're trying to be awful. I think you need to really. All right, if they weren't trying to be bad, you need to get a number one wide receiver in there, because Sterling Shepard, I think he's good, but he's not number one material. Golden Tate's not number one material. Ingram, he's good tight end, but he's not a wide receiver. Get a number one wide receiver. I think you need to shore up, especially the secondary, because their secondary, while it has solid pieces name wise, it has Logan Ryan and everything, but it's still a tough climb. So I think you need to shore up the defense and get a number one wide receiver, if that's the case. And of course, wait until Saquon Barkley comes back, and we'll see. And we'll see. But again, it's kind of hard to evaluate the Giants because they have good pieces. It's just they are trying to be bad, seeing as though their cornerstone piece in the Saquon Barkley got hurt. So that's the Giants. The Eagles need to get healthy. Carson Wentz, to me, a lot of people bag on Carson Wentz. Don't get me wrong, Carson Wentz has had a pretty tough time this year. But, they just need to get healthy. Their offensive line is hurt. Their number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 wide receivers hurt. Their defense is hurt. I think if that team just gets healthy, they'll be a lot better. Again, a lot of people want to kill Carson Wentz and throw Carson Wentz under the bus for being 2-4-1, but again, the whole team is hurt. So I just think that the Eagles need to get healthy, because once they get healthy, we can really assess how good the Eagles are. Because last time the Eagles were completely healthy, outside of quarterback, they won the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I think the Eagles need to get healthy. The Lions, I think that goes back to Matt. I don't know if Matt Patricia's the guy to get the job done, man. Reports continues to come out saying, the team isn't really listening to Matt Patricia. Some of the sound bites that come out from Matt Patricia, it's kind of head scratching. This team, I don't remember the last time the Lions were even good enough, or we thought that the Lions were good enough to even be in contention for the playoffs. Not saying that they're bad, but, nobody believes in the Lions. I don't know, man. I think that starts with Matt Patricia. I don't know if Matt Patricia's the guy to get the job done, because we've seen, this team should be better than 3-3. With Matthew Stafford, with the pieces that you have. You know what they need? They do need a number one running back, because their number running back situation is kind of iffy. They need a number one running back, and they their wide receiver course, or they have some tough wide receivers. So I think their running backs need to be a lot better. So yeah, because their defense is okay as well. So I'm gonna say I think Matt Patricia might need to go and shore up their running back situation. So because that's another team. Actually, no, because I don't. That's another team that could definitely have, or Le'Veon Bell could definitely have helped, but I don't know. So I'll say the Lions need to shore up their running back situation and new coach. The Falcons have already started, man. You know, you get rid of Dan Quinn, thank God. You get rid of the GM. It's just, look. And then here's the thing about the Atlanta Falcons, man. You have so many pieces. Like, on paper, this team shouldn't be this bad, man. On paper, the Atlanta Falcons should not be a 1-6 team with Julio, with Calvin Ridley, with Matt Ryan, with Todd Gurley. What they need to do is they need to really attack that defense, because that defense, time and time again, continuously give up. Like, they're in shootouts for a reason. Like, their defense is not cutting it, man. They need to really assure. It's not just the running defense. Like, their running defense is okay, but especially their secondary, man. Their secondary is garbage. Like, that's just me putting it nicely. Their secondary is not good at all. So I think that they need to really attack that secondary, and they need to decide, what do we want to do? Do we want to, okay, we get rid of the coach, we get rid of the GM. Do we want to go into a full rebuild? And if you want to go into a full rebuild, you have to start to see, or you have to ask yourself, okay, is Matt Ryan the guy to get, like, our guy moving forward? And a lot of people put out Julio Jones, even though a lot of people, including myself, think when healthy, Julio Jones the best wide receiver in the league. But a lot of people throw that out there because outside of maybe Calvin Ridley, you're not going to get much for the pieces that you have. Yes, you have Hayden Hurst, but Hayden Hurst has had a bad year this year. And he wasn't even the number one tight end for Baltimore. Yeah, you have Calvin Ridley, but he's a young asset that you don't want to give up. Yeah, you have Todd Gurley, but a lot of people are starting to see Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley has not been the same since the report came out saying he has arthritis. So I don't know what you're really going to get for Todd Gurley. So the two pieces that you're working with is Matt Ryan, because everybody wants a quarterback, and Julio Jones. So you have to look long and hard to see, is Julio Jones and Matt Ryan a part of your future? And if they're not, you need to capitalize on the assets that you can get for them. And you need to really aggressively focus on that secondary, because that secondary is horrible. The run defense isn't that good. It's not that bad, but it's not that good. But their secondary is god awful. So yeah, that's the Falcons, man. Let's talk about the Browns. Let's first talk about Odell Beckham. I hope that you get well soon. As for people that don't know, he suffered a torn ACL on Sunday after Baker Mayfield threw yet another interception, and he was trying to run to tackle the guy that caught the interception, tore his ACL, out for the season. Before I talk about what the Browns need to do to fix themselves, I hope, and I'm not sure, I hope we have seen the last of Odell Beckham Jr. in Cleveland. You know, we talk about quarterbacks a lot, right? And we talk about fit. And it's not just quarterbacks, it's athletes in general. We talk about fit. What is the best fit for you? Fit is so important when it comes to an athlete. Like, for instance, somebody that let's look at players that fit perfectly. The Ravens and Lamar Jackson, that is a perfect fit, because the Ravens saw what they have and it's like, you know what? We're going to make it work. We're going to create a system around Lamar Jackson. Perfect fit. Steph Curry and Golden State. the perfect fit. They gave up Monte Ellis because they understood what they had in Steph Curry. And for people that don't remember, Monte Ellis was incredible back then. The fit just has not worked for Odell Beckham Jr. and the Browns. Now, I'm one of the people that believe, I don't know if Baker Mayfield is, let me say this. I know Baker Mayfield threw a career high 5 passes last year or on Sunday. But Baker Mayfield does that a lot when it comes to bad teams. He's incredible when he plays the Bengals and when he plays Washington or when he plays teams like that. But when you go up against teams like, I don't know, Seattle, or when you go up against teams like the Ravens be beating the brakes off them. Like, I don't know if, you're not a number 1 overall quarterback for bad teams. They don't draft you number 1 so you can constantly beat on the Bengals or beat on the Jets or something. You're a number 1 overall pick because they expect you to win against the Ravens. They expect you to win against Kansas City Chiefs. They expect you to win against teams like that. And the fact that Baker Mayfield doesn't do that time and time again, that's why I have major question on Baker Mayfield. And it goes back to, and then we come back to Odell Beckham Jr. and fit. I don't know if, for some reason, Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. just hasn't been able to get on the same page. I don't know if it's scheme. I don't know if, I would say time, but this is the second year they're playing together. So I think I think that Odell Beckham Jr. just needs a better spot, a better place to go. We talk about number 1. We talk about number 1 option when it comes to wide receiver. Odell Beckham Jr., especially in New York, was one of the best wide receivers in the game. And if you look at just statistics, he is far from that, especially playing with the Browns. And I think, I like when he comes back from injury, maybe the Ravens would be great for him, or a team that just needs a number 1 option. And I don't think that the Browns is the guy, is the place for Odell Beckham. Now, let's go back to the Browns and what they need to fix. The Browns are littered with talent everywhere. You have Myles Garrett, you have Jarvis Landry, you have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, littered with talent on both sides of the ball. This is when you really need to take it. And this is the first time I can honestly say, in a while at least, that the Browns are actually coached competently in Kevin Stefanski. What you really have to look at now is Baker Mayfield the guy moving forward? Again, not all 5-2s are created equal. The Browns have struggled to get to 5-2. And most of their 5 has been against bad teams. Their 2, I know they got destroyed by the Ravens. I think they're 33-3 or something like that. You have to really take a hard look. Yes, we want to beat everyone we play, but and Baker Mayfield is good against superior talent as far as teams, but is Baker Mayfield to get the job done when you're playing against the Steelers? The Steelers beat the brakes off them too. It's now I know the Steelers are undefeated, but you're still a number 1 overall draft pick, and they draft you and surround you with talent to beat teams like that. So with the Browns, I think you need to take a hard look as to, is Baker Mayfield the guy to get it done? And if Baker Mayfield's not, that's when you gotta start looking for trades. I don't know how good their draft stock would be, but that's when you really need to start looking at it. So, and the Bengals need to shore up their defense. Their defense has been horrible for the longest, and their defense is still horrible. Joe Burrow has been incredible. He's, I think, a front runner right now for Rookie of the Year. Their defense is just horrible. And it's not just the defense. Their defense is horrible, and their offensive line is horrible. It's really Joe Burrow, Tyler Boyd, Higgins, and AJ Green somewhat, and that's it. Like they're oh, and Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's been good too. Other than that, their offensive line is probably the worst in the league, and their defense is incredibly bad. So if the Bengals just get that done, because I think they have the quarterback of the future with Joe Burrow, it's just you need to keep him safe and protect him. And if you can't do that, then it's gonna be a long day. The Bengals are not gonna get nowhere. So like the Bengals. Joe Burrow is better than 5-1. It's just everyone like the offensive line is horrible and their defense is just god awful. So that's that. Let's move to the Packers. The Packers is 5-1. Aaron Rodgers is in the running for MVP. But the Packers look like a team that can definitely make it to the Super Bowl. One thing about the Packers, however, is how good is their defense really, especially the run defense. Their run defense definitely needs some work, man. And it's not just like it's their defense in general. I'm not saying the defense is bad, but their defense to me is not championship caliber defense. Their offense probably isn't either, outside of Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. I think that playing alongside Aaron Rodgers increases and improves the offense altogether. But I think that, one, they need to definitely retune up their defense. Not saying that it's bad, but it's, to me, not championship material. And they definitely need another weapon when it comes to wide receiver. And that's what we've been talking about for 2-3 years now, as far as the Packers need a solid number two. A solid number two alongside Devontae Adams, because the people that have they're good, but I don't know if they're number two. Like, they wouldn't be number twos on great teams. It's just Aaron Rodgers makes them incredible. So I think you need to get a number two wide receiver and really tune up that defense for the Packers. Whew. All right. Here we go. Let's get to Houston. Whew. Houston is in a tough spot, man. And it's in a tough spot because of what Bill O'Brien did with that franchise. One, you have Deshaun Watson, but you don't have you have a decent offensive line at best, but that he's still running for his life time and time again. And that defense is horrible, man. And the worst part about it is you don't really have a future, because trading away DeAndre Hopkins to get David Johnson, who's been decent, but he hasn't been all that. You trade away damn near your future and draft picks for Laramie Tunsil, who is iffy at best. It's like what they need to do. The Texans need to get a coach, one, because Romeo Cornell or Cornell, whatever his name is, he's not really getting it done. He's the oldest coach in the league right now. I know he's interim, but he's the oldest coach in the league. Get Eric Bieniemy and sign him to a 5, 6, 7 year deal, because to fix the Texans is not going to be a 1 or 2 year ordeal, seeing as though you don't really have any draft picks. Right now, your future is bleak. You need somebody that, one, can win back the team, and two, someone that can try to work with what is the Texans right now. Because outside of Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt, you don't have much, man. I mean, Will Fuller, he's injury prone. Kenny Stills isn't a number 1 or 2, and he's injury prone. David Johnson, I mean, we know the injury history back when he was with the Cardinals. I think that there's a lot that needs to be done with the Texans, but you need to start by hiring a coach, preferably Eric Bieniemy, to a maybe 6-7 year deal and allow him to work, allow him to fully put his imprint on the team, on the organization. I'm not saying make him a GM like you did with Bill O'Brien, but hire Eric Bieniemy and allow him to work. Because again, what's wrong with the Texans isn't a 1 or 2 year thing. This is multiple years. Because again, you don't have any draft picks, bro. So hire Eric Bieniemy for the Texans. Let's go with the Panthers. One, Christian McCaffrey has to get healthy. That's first and foremost. And two, they're competitive. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater's been good. Robbie Anderson has been good. DJ Moore has been good. Their defense has been solid. They just, need to get Christian McCaffrey back, and they just need to continue to grow. Again, I know Teddy Bridgewater is a decent quarterback, but is he a Super Bowl starting quarterback? Like, is he a quarterback that can really get you to a Super Bowl? Now, again, it's easy to say no and just go get one, but the quarterback market, especially teams that are looking to shop Super Bowl type talent, isn't really big. So, I mean, if you have a good quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater, you keep him. You know what I mean? So, I just think, one, Christian McCaffrey needs to get back healthy and just continue to grow. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater isn't bad. It's just, just got to improve. And they just got to improve with time, So that's the Panthers. The Saints, as quiet as it's kept, man, Malcolm Jenkins might not have much left in the tank, man. I don't know how many times he continues to get burnt. They need to, they have studs on the defensive side of the ball, but their secondary is still has major holes. And we see it now, man. Drew Brees, while he doesn't have a cannon of an arm anymore, his accuracy is still there. It's just without a number one receiver like Michael Thomas, it's kind of tough for him, man. Alvin Kamara has been great. Emmanuel Sanders, even though he didn't play Sunday, he's been okay. Jared Cook has been a freaking godsend for them. It's just they need to get that pass defense together, man. Yeah, Marcus Lattimore's good, but outside of that, like it's they continuously get beat, man. I'm not saying beat as far as like record because they're 4-2, but I mean beat as in, I don't know, like yesterday or like Sunday. DJ Moore beat that secondary so many times. And one of those touchdowns, I know he had 2 touchdowns, but one of those touchdowns, he was wide smack open because he just got past, the defense got past Malcolm Jenkins and just caught it in and was wide open. Like, that shouldn't happen with a Super Bowl contending team. So I think you need to shore up that defense or shore up that secondary, man. I know they have big names, but those big names haven't really done much. So let's move over to the Bills. The Bills, Josh Allen needs to go back to his I know they're 5-2, but he needs to go back to the Josh Allen of the beginning of this football season where he was an MVP candidate, because he is kind of regressed back to the old Josh Allen. He's not really consistent anymore. And that defense, man, which was a staple. Like, I know they won 18-10, but it's the Jets. And the Jets were in it most of the game. So I just think they need to reassure that defense, man. And I think that they need a number one running back. Now, the Bills was another place I thought would be a good destination for Le'Veon Bell. But yes, Devin Singletary's good. But to me, Devin Singletary is not a number one running back. Or, let me say this. You can get more. You can get more than him. So, or you can get better pieces than Devin Singletary. So, I just think you need to get a number one running back. And Josh Allen needs to go back to the Josh Allen of the beginning of the year. And they need to just shore up their defense. If they do that, right now they have a lead in the AFC North. It's just you have to, shore up some things, and they should be good. The Jets fire Adam Gase. That's just a start. Fire Adam Gase. I don't need to go on much more, because if we really wanted to try to fix the Jets, that'd be an entire episode in of itself. Just fix the Jets. I mean, just fire Adam Gase. That's first and foremost. Ooh, now we're getting to the meat of things. The Dallas Cowboys. Ooh, sometimes you have to be real with yourself. Sometimes you have to be honest with yourself. And sometimes you have to tell yourself, you know what? I was wrong. The self-awareness is the toughest thing in the world to have sometimes, but it's the most important thing to have. Sometimes you just have to know, you know what? I was wrong. Jerry Jones needs to have that self-awareness when it comes to the coaching staff, and when it comes to some of these contracts that you gave out. It hasn't worked with Mike McCarthy. It hasn't worked with the defensive coordinator. It hasn't worked with Kellen Moore. It hasn't worked with that coaching staff. So it might just be time to be like, I know it's in the middle of the season. I know there's still a chance to win the NFC East, even though they're 2-5. It might be time to be like, you know what? Let's just cut bait. We haven't. The team isn't responding to Mike McCarthy or the defensive coordinator. It's just time to. I mean, Dallas had 142 total net yards. That's the fewest since 2001 for that team. Now, I know Andy Dalton was hurt, or got hurt, but might be time. I think you have to look yourself in the eye, Jerry Jones, and be like, you know what? It's not working with Mike McCarthy. We're going to have to cut bait. I mean, this is even if we do make the playoffs, there's no chance in heaven or hell we're beating Seahawks or a Saints or a Bucks or what's another team? Then they're definitely not beating the 49ers or something like that. It's like, I think you just have to cut bait. Also, you have to be like, all right, DeMarcus Lawrence isn't working. Jalen's not. There's some of those big contracts that you handed out just aren't working, so they might have to go. And pay Dak Prescott. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Pay Dak Prescott. Once you start doing that, some of this stuff to me will start relieving itself. So Dallas is gonna take a lot of soul searching. So Washington football team. First and foremost, get a freaking name. Like the Washington football team, get a name. Like find a name, because the Washington football team just no. And two, quarterback, man. Kyle Allen is not it. Alex Smith, I mean, he did come back from that gruesome injury, but is he still a number one? I don't think so. Address that quarterback, and then really work on really attack that offensive line aggressively. Like your first 5 draft picks, 4 of the 5, you know what? Let me say this. Your first 6 draft picks, 5 of the 6 should be offensive linemen. Like you need to really address the offensive line. And then number 3, address the wide receivers. Yes, Terry McLaurin's good, but outside of Terry McLaurin, who do you really have? So you need to, one, get a name. The Washington football team needs to get a name. They need to really look at get a quarterback, because if you don't think Dwayne Haskins is it, I don't think Kyle Allen's it, and we don't think Alex Smith still has it in to be a starting quarterback. Make a move, and then you need to really attack that offensive line and the offensive wide receiver, the weapons of the weapons. Seattle. When you have someone as great as Russell Wilson, it's kind of easy. It's easy to fall back or fall into that. We have Russell Wilson, we'll be okay. He's so great, he can save us. That's what Green Bay has fallen back on for as long as Aaron Rodgers has been there. But as we saw Sunday Night Football, That's not always going to work. Yes, Russell Wilson threw 3 pretty tough interceptions, but they were going to win the game if Homie didn't. I don't remember his name, but if Homie doesn't try to leap over the defender for a field goal and use his back, his defender's back, it's like it's I don't know how many times you can bail somebody out when there's so much around you that needs help. You know what I mean? So I think you need, outside Jamal Adams and Bobby Wagner, you don't really, and KJ Wright, you don't have anything on the defensive side of the ball. You had Jadeveon Clowney, he's gone. You don't have anything on the defensive side of the ball. So I think you need to really address the defense and then address that offensive line. The offensive line still, you have Dwayne Bowe or Brown, whatever his name is. But outside of that, you don't really have much. So you need to really aggressively attack that defensive line or defensive side of the ball, and then the offensive line, you should be good. I mean, Tyler Lockett is still a great wide receiver. DK Metcalf is still good. You know, you have Disley or whatever his name is. He's become a good tight end. Like, do that defensive side of the ball and the offensive line. That is most definitely a Super Bowl team. The Cardinals. You know, the Cardinals did what I told the Cowboys to do, look themselves in the mirror. The Cardinals did that to perfection. You hire a quarterback. You hire you hire a coach. You draft Josh Rosen, and in the middle of the season, like, you know what, this ain't working. Get Josh Rosen out of here. Get the coach out of here. Bring in Cliff Kingsbury. We wanted Joey Bosa, but we wanted Nick Bosa, but we see how good Kyler Murray is. Let's get Kyler Murray. I think that the Cardinals just need time, man. The Cardinals need time and continue to develop because they've been, they're 5-2. They've been really good. So I think the Cardinals get some development and they'll be straight. The Chiefs, they don't need to do anything. You know what? The Chiefs kind of need to shore up their pass defense and their run defense, but they still, even if they don't do that, the Chiefs don't need to do much, man. The Chiefs are good. Like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. Now you have Le'Veon Bell, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Frank Clark, Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones. That's a lot of teams. That's a lot of pieces, man. That's a lot of pieces. So the Chiefs don't really have to do much. Just kind of shore up the passing defense. Just kind of shore that up and the running defense, and you'd be all right. The Broncos, one, you need to get healthy, and two, I think the Broncos need to bring in some more pieces on the offense for Drew Lock. They had Curtis Sutton, but he got hurt. You bring in some more offensive weapons, like especially receiver. Yeah, Judy's been good, but bring in some more help, and I think they'll be okay. Von Miller being out the entire season definitely hurt them, so I think they need to, one, get healthy and maybe bring some more offensive weapons. Melvin Gordon's been good, but again, it's back to the be healthy type thing. So, 49ers. I don't know if Jimmy G. They made the Super Bowl last year, and they've been destroying people. They destroyed the last two opponents, which was the Patriots and the Rams. It's Jimmy G. Again, Jimmy G is going to give you a couple opportunities to snag it. You just have to take it. So you have to look to see, is Jimmy G it? And they need to get healthy because their running backs have been decimated. So 49ers need to get healthy. The Patriots. Now, the Patriots got hit by COVID more than anybody. You have, I believe, 9 players opt out due to COVID. Cam Newton got COVID. The team couldn't practice like that because they had to shut down the facility. They just got decimated by COVID. So I think that I don't think that they're good enough. I never thought they're good enough to make any noise in the playoffs. Now they could make it to the playoffs. I don't think they're good enough to make any noise in the playoffs. So one thing that I think, next year you'll have, hopefully, if all this COVID stuff is handled, you'll have 9 players. A lot of them are Pro Bowlers. They'll come back. But for this year, I think you need to definitely get some wide receiver help. Julian Edelman is washed. N'Keal Harry looks like Drake when he was running routes on Laugh Now, Cry Later. Like, they just look horrible. N'Keal Harry can't create any separation. They have no, and I mean absolutely no wide receiver talent on that team. And it's also coupled with the fact that Cam Newton didn't have a lot of pieces in Carolina, but he had better pieces than this. So you need to really bring on some wide receiver talent. Now, I don't trust Bill Belichick in doing that because he hasn't done it time and time again. But that's the first thing you need to do for the Patriots if you want any. If you want any type of success, you need some wide receiver help, man. Jesus. The Bucks, they just need time. Hell, a lot of people killed Golden State. A lot of people killed Miami. A lot of people killed Boston Celtics. A lot of people killed the Lakers this year for having a super team. And a lot of people was like, it's impossible to have a super team in the NFL. Well, shit. Enter the Bucks. I mean, you have Tom Brady, Gronk, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. Now you bring on AB, and you have Ndamukong Suh on the defense. Like, they have pieces. Ronald Jones has been good running back. They have pieces, man. Now I will say this: AB did choose the Buccaneers over the Raiders. Over the Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks really didn't need him. Neither did the Patriots, neither did the Buccaneers. But, that relationship that he has with Tom Brady, dating back for when he had the brief stint with New England, that really, I guess, set it apart. I will say this. Signing AB can go one of two ways. Now, I'm not the type of person that likes to really hold a grudge or really hold what somebody did in their past over their head their entire career. I'm not doing that. But we've seen nearly every stop AB has gone to. We've seen how it ended. We saw how it ended with the Pittsburgh Steelers, an organization, by the way, that brought the best out of AB. We saw how it ended with the Raiders. We saw how it ended with the New England Patriots. If AB comes in and is a model citizen, is dedicated to playing, dedicated to winning, then they have a great shot of really, I don't really see much. Good luck stopping the Buccaneers. But the Buccaneers are still in the early stages of trying to develop chemistry, trying to become that really great team and not just a great team on paper. AB can really derail that if he comes and brings that circus that he has had with him since leaving or since the end of his Pittsburgh days. So if AB comes and is just here to play, here to work, here to be the great AB that he was, then the Bucs don't need nothing. But if AB comes with the baggage that he has come with the past few stints, then you might need to really evaluate if AB is right for the team, especially a team that's trying to develop chemistry. So then the Raiders need to stop getting penalties, man. The Raiders is one of the most heavily penalized teams in the league. You need to cut down the penalties because that's what continues to kill them. There's penalties. So yeah, you need to button that up. And the defense, I mean, their defense can be a lot better. So stop with the penalties, and that's also the same for the Buccaneers too. The Buccaneers, now the last 2 games have been good, but they've been hit with penalties like heavy. So penalties for the Raiders, chill out with that and shore up the defense. Steelers 6-0. I mean, they're the only remaining undefeated team. I will say that Big Ben needs to really chill out on these interceptions. Now, their defense has been incredible, and their defense has got them out of things. Claiborne has been really good. Juju Smith-Schuster's been good. But they need to really chill out with the turnovers. If they stop with the turnovers, then they'll be undefeated for a while. So, that's the Steelers. The Titans, the Titans don't need to do much, man. You have a good quarterback in Ryan Tannehill. You have a great running back in Derrick Henry. You have a good offensive line. You have a great defense. You have a great coach in Mike Vrabel. I just think they just need to continue to do what they're doing. Like, I don't think that the Titans actually have much, you know what I mean, or need much, honestly. The Jaguars, they suck. The Jaguar, if we have to start somewhere with the Jaguars, fire the coach. No, that's not gonna help like that. I would say, that's tough. You know, the Jaguars have a lot to fix. I'll say if you're the Jaguars, the first thing that you do is make a decision. Is Gardner Minshew the one that's going to take you where you need to go? If it's not, go get a quarterback. If he is, then you have to really put pieces around him that, I mean, DJ Chalk can't be your best running wide receiver. That just can't happen. So, yeah. And the Chargers, one, need to get healthy, and two, just continue to nurture Justin Herbert, because Justin Herbert has been looking incredible. So once you do that, you'll be good, man. Yeah, and that's every team, man. That is every. I just fixed you guys. Thank you, Jalen. Thank you. I know it's okay. That is every team. I just fixed you guys and found a way to make y'all Super Bowl contenders. Is there anything else needed to can I just drop the mic? No. Let's there's a couple stories that we need to talk about before we go. Let's talk about something that was a media dump on Sunday that not a lot of people talked about, because not a lot of people even knew. Running back Ryquell Armstead is out for the entire season due to COVID complications. He's been hospitalized twice because of complications to the virus. Again, a lot of people think if the virus really only affects if you're 89 years old or if you had some underlying disease or something, but Ryquell Armstead was thought for the Jaguars to be their number one running back, and as we're seeing, the COVID has just done damage. We see how great Cam Newton has looked, and now how bad he's looked ever since he's come back from getting COVID. So, again, we still don't know or have a handle on this COVID thing. And as we're starting to see, hell, again, I remember telling you guys there was a college kid, a college athlete that died from COVID, or complications from COVID. So, again, for people that say that we have a handle on this COVID thing, no, we do not. And this really showed. Ryquell Armstead out for the entire season. Like, again, the COVID thing is very real. And the NFL, just like the world, is trying to. I think one thing that we did wrong as a nation is we decided to, instead of trying to kill COVID, we decided, all right, we're tired of this quarantine thing. Let's try to coincide with it or live with it. And that's not, to me, that wasn't the smartest thing. And I guess we're starting to pay the price. Like I said, this was a media dump. That there is a running back who was a number one option that is out for the entire season due to COVID. So, hell, just please continue to mask up, 6 feet apart, social distance. Definitely wash your hands, sanitize, and be smart, man. Be smart. Be smart. Is there anything? I don't think there's anything else. Football. Moving to basketball. Stan Van Gundy became the new head coach for the New Orleans Pelicans. It really depends on what the Stan Van Gundy that we're getting. If you're getting the Stan Van Gundy from New Orleans, I think he that's a really good coach. You developed Dwight Howard. You got the team to a championship. They didn't win it, but you got them there. And I think that he's still a good coach. It's just your players have to buy into. If you don't buy into Stan Van Gundy, then he's not going to be effective. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, if you don't have a squad that's going to listen to the coach, then what's the point of having a coach? So I think that I think Stan Van Gundy he could be a good coach if the team listens to him. Or you get a Stan Van Gundy from Detroit who nobody listened to him, and as we saw, it didn't work. So I think it's a good hire if they gravitate to his scheme, if they develop his culture, the culture that he had in Orlando, and we'll see how it goes. So in the NBA, looks to start next season on Christmas or around that Christmas date. It's not really surprising. Christmas is a big day for NBA, even pre-COVID, and starting it on the day where everyone's going to be home, everyone's going to be, watching TV with their family. That's kind of a home run right there. So NBA looks to start Christmas Day. The World Series, the tonight could be the last game. The Dodgers are up 3-2. And this has been a really good World Series, man. This has been incredible. The Tampa Bay Rays have been resilient. We saw the craziness that ensued the end of Game 4, I believe, that the Rays took. This has been a good series. Now, I said Dodgers in 6, so I think that the Dodgers close it out tonight. But yeah, this has been a really good series, man. And again, right now the Dodgers are up 3-2. So, and lastly, before I go, Khabib, for people that don't know UFC, right? Khabib was one of the greatest UFC fighters to ever fight. He's fought some big names. He's, I think, one of 2 people to beat Conor McGregor, and he was a staple in the UFC as a whole. And this weekend or last weekend, after beating, I forgot homeboy's name, Justin something, he retires, finishing 29-0. Now, he retired because recently his father passed away, and he's had a really tough time, understandably, of course, dealing with the loss of his father while still fighting, because one of the reasons why he got into fighting was because his father loved it so much, and his father wanted him to fight. And, a lot of people, a lot of the UFC family wrap their arms around him, rightfully so. I mean, it's, he's still a great, great, great athlete. So, again, shouts out to him, and shouts out to Khabib. Again, I'm not the one to be like, no, he shouldn't have quit because of this, that, and the third. I'm not one to say, I mean, your father, you got to get over it. No, you can't tell someone how to grieve, man. So, and could he come back and fight? Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because his moms didn't even want him to fight this past weekend. But again, if he never fights again, shouts out to Khabib for being one of the greatest. I mean, we talk about the John Bones Jones. We talk about the JPPs. We talk about Anderson Silva and how great, Shogun Rua, like how great these people are. He is in the pantheon of some of the greatest UFC fighters ever. Chuck Liddell, he's in that class. So again, shouts out to Khabib, and I hope that, you know, he finds peace in the loss of his father. You know, my condolences to the family. But with that being said, this has been the episode of the Unpopular Podcast, man. I appreciate everyone for listening. I appreciate everyone for watching. I appreciate all of you guys. Please subscribe to wherever you listen to. Please subscribe. You know what? Please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, man. I definitely would like to get that going a lot more. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I still have merch. I have hoodies. I have shirts. Hit me up if you want it. And yeah, man, continue to be great. Continue to social distance. Continue to be healthy. And until next time, much love.
Love never felt so good, but I always knew it could. Now I don't wanna let it go, but I know this is life. But most time wrong feels right, and then nobody's really yours. It's just your turn, just your turn. For a reason, a season, who knows how long for. But it's your turn, so do your best to make me happy and keep it going on. Oh, it's your turn, it's your turn, it's your turn, it's your turn, baby. It's just your turn, it's your turn, it's your turn, baby. Nobody's truly yours. It's just your turn, baby. Nobody's truly yours. It's just your turn, baby. It's your turn, it's your turn, it's your turn, baby. It's just your turn, it's your turn, it's your turn, baby. Nobody's truly yours. It's just your turn, baby. It's just your turn, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm holding on for dear life, for what I think feels right. Make much sense to me. Oh yeah. Cause I know I fell in love at 16, in love at 20, fell in love at 22. Now what the hell does it all mean? I know it's your turn, it's your turn. For a reason or season, who knows how long for. But you gon' find somebody new. I was there to teach you something that you never knew. I will reach up to the sky, pull down a cloud for you. Wanna see you happy, even if I'm not with you. Even if I'm not with you, and now it's just your turn. Even though I'm not with you, and now it's just your turn. Maybe it's your turn, you shouldn't feel away. Lately I've been grateful, counting down the days. Knowing it could fail, yet I still stay. Right towards love, and honey, I don't know.
No, I don't. What will be? What we'll see. King of love, king of all things. It's an odd thing. When it feels good, it's a God thing. Keep it going on and on and on and on and on until it's almost gone. Maybe it's your turn. I think it's just your turn.